I'm going to talk about how to set clear boundaries in dating and in relationships. So first, what are boundaries? And my definition of boundaries is they are like a pink velvet rope. And you know those ropes in like the movie theater that, they put up, and it sections off the people who get in and the people who stay out. But it's velvet, it's soft. It is not this wall, which is often how we think of boundaries, as this tough wall. It's soft, and it's something that we can open or close, right? So if you think of it as a velvet rope, it's softer, it's much more feminine. Boundaries are our emotional self-defense. So why don't we set them? Well, the first thing is that we're not taught how. Most of us grew up in families that didn't have the greatest role models, and so we were not modeled how to set boundaries. We also suffer from nice girl syndrome. Let me know in the comments if you suffer from nice girl syndrome, meaning you want to be nice above all. Boundaries are often seen as bitchy or selfish. And that to me is often because we are not setting them in a way that is the most helpful. So I'm going to share 3 steps for setting boundaries in dating. Step 1, get clear on what you want and need in a relationship. Know your must-haves and deal breakers. This is so essential. You cannot set boundaries if you don't know what you want. And this is true not just of dating, but anything in life. We have to know what is a deal breaker. When is a friend crossing a line, and when do we need to address it? So it's very important that we quantify this so we can be prepared to say no when something is a deal breaker. And in dating, I suggest you make a list of what you will and won't do. Those are your dating and relationship boundaries. So it's a will and won't list, and it's going to be different for all of you. And here are some examples. I will not sleep with someone until blank happens. Do you need to be monogamous? Do you need to have the sex talk? Figure out what you need, and that is your boundary. I will not date men who show signs that they are controlling or unkind. And again, fill in the blank with what you will not tolerate. Another example is, I will not date men who are financially irresponsible. And then I want you to make your I will date list. I will be open to dating different types of men. So you're going to fill in the blank. What types of men are you going to be open to dating that you haven't dated before? I will be open to dating a man who lives blank distance from me. So let's say you've only dated men who live 30 miles away. Maybe you make a boundary around 100 miles, but you have boundaries around that. You will date a man who lives farther away, but X, Y, and Z must happen for the relationship to work. So if it means more contact, if it means more trips put on the calendar, you figure out what you need and you set a boundary around that. Another example is, I will be open to dating men who are blank years older or younger than I am. So let's say you've only dated men who were 5 years older or 5 years younger, and now you're extending that to 15 years. But if you had a boundary around 5 or 10 years, then don't go outside that boundary. Know what you want, know what you need. Step 2, learn how to clearly and kindly set boundaries. Now, this is going to be brief. This is absolutely a very long topic, boundaries, and so I'm just going to give you a few quick examples. If you do not want to get to know a man through texting, this is a thing that comes up all the time. I don't like that he texts, I can't really get to know him. That's a boundary, and you need to kindly let a man know, I don't text as I'm getting to know a man. I like to reserve texting just for logistics. If you have a boundary around being touched or kissed when you're not ready, you need to have a boundary for that. And you can say something like, hey, slow down, cowboy. There's lots of different quick boundaries, but keep them in your back pocket so you're ready to enforce them when a person has crossed a boundary. I had a client recently who was mauled by a guy on a second date, and he just kept moving closer and closer and kissing, and then she felt bad because he parked far away, and so she drove him to his car. He pretty much attacked her in the car, and luckily she got out without getting hurt. But it was scary, and we had a long talk about boundaries after that. If you don't want to be a pen pal and you want to get off messaging and onto a phone call, you need to set a boundary around that, and you need to kindly let a man know where to meet for a first date. A lot of times men will suggest places that are not public. They want to pick you up at your house. You got to set a boundary around that. And another boundary in dating is when a date is going on too long and you want to end it after 45 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes the most. End the date. You've got to set a boundary for that. So when you set boundaries, the step 3 is to observe what happens next. When you set those boundaries, you're going to notice a few things. The right men are going to respect you. They're going to love that you set boundaries. And the wrong men are going to get angry. They're going to push back. And they're going to be really, really pissed. And that is all good. It's good to know that a good man is going to respect you, and it's good to know that a man who's a boundary pusher is not, because you then can move on quicker. You have set your boundaries, and you know that this man is not right for you. So boundary setting is crucial if you want to have a healthy, lasting, loving relationship. And the good news is, because this topic is so intense and takes a lot of time to go through, and I can't do it justice in just a few minutes, this next month in April, in the Women of Value Club, we are talking about boundaries. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, you will have a 1-hour masterclass with live coaching if you join the Women of Value Club. I wish that I had these incredible tools when I was first dating and jobs. I mean, everything. Boundaries are essential.